Hi everyone, happy Wednesday. I'm so glad to be here with you tonight, and I'm excited for all of you that are joining live tonight. So tonight we're actually going to be continuing our discussion on snacks. So last week we talked about best snacks for busy postpartum moms, and tonight we are going to be talking about the best snacks for mamas who have gestational diabetes. So I actually just did a video on the top 3 mistakes you might be making if you have gestational diabetes. So if that's something you would like to watch, let me know. I can drop the link for you in the chat. Comment video below and I will get that video over to you. But tonight we're going to just do a brief overview of snacks for mamas with gestational diabetes. I'm not going to go too much into the mechanisms of gestational diabetes because I cover that in the video that I was just talking about. So we're really just going to go over the snacks. So when we're talking about gestational diabetes, we have to be careful with our carbohydrate intake, and the reason for that is our carbohydrate intake is what's going to increase our blood sugar levels. So we don't want to have too few carbohydrates, because if we have too few carbohydrates, we can have a hypoglycemic episode. Hypoglycemic means low sugar. So that's when you don't have enough glucose in your blood and you feel really clammy, you feel really faint, cold, you'll look really pale, you just have no energy. So that's a hypoglycemic. So we want to make sure we have adequate enough carbs so we can prevent that, but we want to make sure that we're not eating too many carbs, otherwise we'll get hyperglycemic. And what that means is hyper means extra sugar. So there's a sweet spot right there in the middle. Now, when we see graphs of kind of a blood sugar spike, we see it going like this, and then boom, really high, and then it comes back down. That's if we have carbs just by themselves. What we want to do is we want to pair carbohydrates with protein and fat. And instead of your blood sugar going like this, it'll just go a little lower. It'll still elevate, but it won't go as high. So I say don't eat any naked carbs. And what I mean by naked carbs is make sure that you have a protein and a fat when you eat those carbs. So an example of a naked carb might be a banana. A banana by itself a medium banana has about 30 carbohydrates in it. So you want to pair that with some peanut butter or a handful of nuts or a glass of milk with some other protein sources in there. Maybe for breakfast you have hard-boiled eggs and a banana. So those are some options, because the fat and the protein of the other foods is going to help your body slowly release that blood sugar so it's not as dramatic as a spike. So the first snack that I like to talk about is a handful of nuts with an ounce of dried fruit. So this is really great as an on-the-go snack. You can put it in a little snacky bag. So a handful of nuts with an ounce of dried fruit. So you're getting your carbohydrates from the dried fruit and you're getting your protein and fat from the nuts. The other one that I have on this list, and I have this really great list, so if that's something you guys would like, comment list in the comments below and I will send that over to you. So the other one is an apple with an ounce of cheese. So when we're talking about a serving of carbohydrates in terms of fruit, we're thinking about the size of your fist or the size of a baseball/softball. So about this is about the size of a serving of carbohydrates. So there's apples at the store that are like as big as my head. Those are probably going to be a little too much, so kind of stick with the smaller apples. And the ounce of cheese is going to give you the protein and fat that you need to pair with it. So also, you can do a small apple, but one of my favorite snacks is an apple and peanut butter. So you can pair that apple and peanut butter, or you could do apple and cheese. It's really just pairing that protein and fat together with that carbohydrate. So the next one I have on here is 8 And I say 8 because that's usually a serving of crackers, but about 8 whole grain crackers. And what you want to do is you'll want to look at the label, the nutrition facts label on whatever cracker you buy, and it'll tell you how many carbs how many crackers per serving and how many carbs per serving. So whole grain crackers with an ounce of cheese, that's a really good one to have around the house. You can also do whole grain crackers with a pouch of tuna. That's a really healthy one. If you're really craving something, you can do a half a cup of cereal with a half a cup of skim milk. And I put half a cup of Cheerios because I tend to think Cheerios are a little bit healthier than most of the cereals that are on the market. There are plenty of healthy cereals on the market, but I'm sure you know the cereal aisle is very overwhelming, and a lot of those are packed with sugar. So just be really careful with that. The next snack I have on here is 6 ounces of Greek yogurt. So that's going to be kind of one of those little individual serving of Greek yogurt, and with a half a cup of strawberries. Another great snack to have on is a fourth a cup of hummus with carrot sticks or broccoli. And so with carrot sticks or broccoli, you don't necessarily have to measure out as much as like 6 or 8 crackers or something like that. So with carrots and broccoli, you really don't have to measure too much. Just eat until you're full, and just include that hummus with it to get the healthy protein and fat. You can always do a slice of whole wheat toast with half of an avocado on top. I love avocado toast. So what I do is I'll toast the bread, and I'll put half an avocado, and I'll smear that on there, and then I'll do a little bit of garlic salt and a little bit of lime juice on top, and that's one of my go-to snacks. Or you could do a slice of whole wheat toast with 2 tablespoons of nut butter. So these are all my go-to snacks for mamas who have gestational diabetes. Remember, it's important to pair those carbs and proteins with, your proteins and fat with your carbs. And I go a little bit more into the mechanisms of gestational diabetes in the video that I did earlier this week. If you would like access to that video, I would be more than happy to send it to you. Just comment video in the comments below, and I'll get that over to you. And if you guys would like my list of the 10 snacks for gestational diabetes, comment list below, and I'll send that to you as well. You guys have a wonderful rest of your week, and next week we're going to be talking about the best snacks for pre and post pregnancy workout. So that's a one that a lot of moms have a question on. If they are doing a workout during their pregnancy, what can they snack on? Do they need to do before? Do they need to do after? So we're going to talk about that next week. So I can't wait to see you then. If you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to let me know, and you guys have a wonderful rest of your week.